Okay, hi guys. I'm gonna be doing a Play&Explain video of 10NL Zoom on Pokerstars. I'm gonna be two-tabling. Let's see how it goes. This is basically a bit of a test video to see how this goes. Yeah, I'll just be explaining what I do, why I do it. I haven't played Pokerstars in forever, so hopefully this will go well. Okay. So yeah. Here, Jack 10 offsuit as an open. I need to change my bet sizings. Give me a second. How do we do this again? Where is this table appearance? It's been a while. Binary. I feel like such a boomer at the moment. Further standard god we can fold this. Yeah. This is already starting off horrible, obviously. Where do I do this? God damn it. Bet sliders, right? Here. Pre-flop, big blind, 2.5. Like, yeah, we can do different bet sizing. It's all fine. I just like to use 2.5. Okay, here we go. I should be tagging people. It's definitely important. So I'll start doing that. Label fish. My green tag is for fish. Here against under the gun. We don't expect to make a lot of money with his hand, but still, obviously it's call. The board 553 soon hit him too much. When he quickly checks backs here, I do feel like I'm generally gonna have the best hand. We can get some value from ace highs here on this board. He shouldn't have too many 7x here. And river, I'm just gonna check. If he has an ace, probably checks it down. If he has 10-8 suited of spades, which is obviously a very loose open, he's gonna win. But yeah, obviously we can't go for value versus an ace high or versus worse. So yeah, definitely gonna tag this guy. Jack 10 against under gun. It's close. We can raise, we can fold. Both are definitely viable. It's pretty big sizing here. But yeah, still a pretty good hand to raise in the small blind. It's a fish also, he doesn't have full stack. So yeah, I'm gonna tag this. He goes for the raise. Yeah, this is a hand that's decently playable. Then it's fish who 4-bet generally. We're just gonna be yeah, so dominated by his range, so we don't have to play this hand out of position. In position, yeah, I wouldn't mind it. Jack 10, we could consider ISOing here, but still 4 people left behind us to act. We don't have to get too fancy. And that's what you generally need to do on these stakes. You don't have to do a lot of fancy plays. Just look for good spots, obviously spots where you can get value. Just play your decent pre-flop ranges. Your opponents are going to be playing a lot worse pre-flop ranges, like we just saw with 10-8 suited, obviously. So yeah, 7-4 suited here. We could consider opening, but yeah, we fold obviously. Once you've seen open, King deuce suited is gonna be open. King 6 suited is close-ish, but fine as an open. We see a lot of folds, and that's what I do think we're generally gonna see here on these Zoom tables, is people being pretty nitty in general. Obviously, we're gonna have enough fish that are gonna be yeah, happy to call a lot, but in general, yeah, the regulars are gonna be very nutty. We see a raise here by Jimmy. Yeah, obviously King 10 suited is a very good candidate to 3-bet. I'm gonna make it $1 here, like about 4x, and we get cold called by the big blinds. A fish from Ukraine. Obviously a great board here. Yeah, we're just gonna try to easily get it in. But like 110. I expect a lot of calls here on this board. He min raises. Like we could consider shoving. It's definitely fine. But yeah, in case this guy is just going insane with like 7 deuce suited, yeah, we're just gonna let him bluff it off here. And we turn quads. I expect to see a lot of all-ins here. He goes for the small bet. Yeah, let's just get it in here. Yeah, he's not going anywhere with a full house, obviously. Yeah, there we go, and he's drawn that. Kings we get 4-bet. Obviously, we don't get 4-bet a lot on these stakes. Could consider calling. We could consider jamming. Yeah, we're just gonna jam this here. If we had the aces, I would be a bit more inclined to just call here. Oh, we're up against the aces, so yeah, no reason to cash out. Obviously, we're just gonna send a rocket to him because he got the nice pocket rockets. So yeah, again, I don't expect people to be out of line there. If I think people are 4-betting light more, then I definitely consider calling kings, because yeah, if he has a hand like ace-5 suited, obviously we want to keep him in the pot, we want him to keep bluffing, and we're gonna make a lot more money that way in a big blind for a small blind situation. But yeah, on these stakes, I can definitely expect him to have queens, jacks, ace, king, and just get those hands in pre-flop. Queen Jack against under gun at 3x. It's actually close, and it's just, yeah, it's just fold here. Even though it looks like a nice hand, and we're in the big blind still against 3x under the gun, we still got to be pretty tight, and we're gonna be dominated a lot by king queen hands, ace queen hands, kings, aces, queens, you know, jacks, yeah, all those hands dominate us. So yeah, then we want to be folding. Okay. So I definitely think 2 tables of Zoom is fine here. Seems to be enough. Like, I was kind of worried maybe it would be too much to explain all my thoughts. I think it's fine. Like, Jack 9 offsuit is close. I think with people being pretty passive on these stakes, where I don't expect a lot of 3-bets, and the big blind being a fish, I think this is probably a profitable open. Whereas if we had more aggressive guys, this is definitely fold. Yeah, and on the right, king queen 5. It's definitely gonna hit my opponent's range and mine, so it hits both of our ranges here in the spot. Obviously, we have all the sets. We have the king queens, ace kings. And that's the reason why with the gut shot here, I definitely like going for a check raise in the spot against the guy who at best maybe has king queen, and then yeah, queen jacks, draws, stuff like that. And then once he checks the flop, I'm definitely gonna start betting. He shouldn't have a lot of 5x, me neither, obviously, but I still have all the full house, I still have king queens, I can value bet. So yeah, I'm going to go pretty big. Don't want to overbet this, because I do think if we overbet, yeah, we're kind of narrowing our ranges a bit too much, which I don't like. Here, monotone board, we hit the set. So yeah, we can get a lot of value here with our set. If we get raised, we don't love it, but obviously we can still continue. Checking would be fine, betting small would be fine. In general, I just like to start going for value in these spots. Here, sizing wise, we could go small, we could go big. I expect them to have a lot of king X here, which are gonna call us a lot of the time. Ace X with a spade also gonna be in there. So yeah, I like to go a little bit bigger. Obviously, it sucks in those spots when we get raised. Because yeah, we do draw to a full house versus a flush, so yeah, it's kind of awkward situation. And here, as played, we're gonna induce him with a really small bet, basically, or make him call with a hand like Ace X that might have a hard time defending versus a big bet. And him calling pretty quickly makes me think we probably lost some value. Yeah, like a hand like Ace Queen which I definitely don't expect him to flat here in the big blind. In this spot, I expect him to squeeze those kind of hands. Yeah, against those, obviously we lose some value. But yeah, he still has a lot of weaker ace-x here in the spots I would expect. And yeah, against those, I prefer to go smaller. So yeah, we might have lost some value here. But I still like a small bet in those spots. King 10 is just fold here. 6-5 suited, we're gonna open. If it folds us, we might also 3-bet this. Oh, a guy with 200 hands. This guy must have been playing here for a long time. Yeah, obviously opening here. Yeah, I'm actually surprised I see a guy with I have 200 hands on. I've done like a small session before this one, just to get used to it a little bit again. So yeah, definitely surprised to see guys I have a lot of hands on. Jack 9 suited, we can open here. On a more aggressive table, we can consider folding, but yeah, it's definitely fine. Here against the fish, I want to be raising, but not too big, basically. There's no reason to go big. Generally, the fish are just gonna call or fold. And in those spots, we just want to isolate the fish, want to play heads up for some, make money that way. And yeah, on this board, 5-6-4, I'm just gonna check. We could bet small and like get him off his equity in these spots. But in general, yeah, I just like to play a bit more passive. Just try to hit good hands versus the fish. And when he bets this big sizing, we can just easily fold. I'm definitely gonna make a note on him. How do I make a note here? It's this guy, yeah. And yeah, aggro. ZZ, it's Dutch. It means when he sees weakness, he might be aggro. So I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on this guy. In the future, if I might call him a bit lighter, might float a bit lighter versus him. Here we raised, we got called with queen check suited. We want to do a lot of checking on this board. When he does check behind, again, I think people are really capped. I expect him to be calling a lot here versus this bet and fold a lot on the river. So we definitely want to start attacking his weak pocket pairs, his ace-x, his king-x. So yeah, here, yeah, we should go a little bit bigger here. Don't like my sizing pre-flop. Against a small min raise, we should be more inclined to go bigger with our 4-bets. Now here, this is board that yeah, should hit us both a lot. Because he min raised, I'm inclined to think he's more of a fish, so against him, I like to go a bit bigger. In general, I prefer to go smaller on this board, because he also still has a lot of queen checks. On these stakes, people can still have queens there, jacks, obviously. So yeah, I like to be a bit more passive. Here we could consider calling ace queen offsuit, but it definitely plays better as a 3-bet here. On the right we just fold. We get 4-bet, easy fold obviously versus 4-bet. Okay. Jack 7 is always a fold. We got queens and jacks. Hopefully we can play those. And he calls. Yeah, we can still go 4x. People are gonna be pretty inelastic. Here we see Donk half-pot bet. He can be full of shit here. He can have ace-x here. Both are definitely possible. We don't want to be doing a lot of raising here with jacks. I definitely don't mind being very aggressive with our trash hands on this board. Basically where I don't mind yeah, putting a lot of pressure on him when we don't really have showdown value. I also like to raise a lot with my ace-x and to try to get a lot of value. And we're just gonna check it down. I expect him to have a lot of 6x, 3x here. But I just don't think we can get a lot of value from those hands, so I'm just gonna check it down. Small bet would also be fine. But yeah, sometimes they do still have like those weak ace X. And we don't really have to do anything crazy here. This guy seems pretty wide, but still raggish, kind of loose raggish. We can definitely 3-bet the hand like ace 4 suited, small blind for cutoff here. Especially when it makes it's 2x. I don't mind doing that. Queen 9 offsuit, just an easy call. Pretty nice flop on the left. Yeah, I like to go small here in general. Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense with our range to be betting big, basically. You guys are a pretty small raise. We're really deep here. Interesting what we want to be doing. In general, I like raising, but it does look really strong, obviously. So yeah, he does fold, which we don't like. Yeah, it's close. When we would be less deep, I would prefer to just call. But because we're so deep, I definitely expect him to still call with draws. Definitely expect him to still call with a lot of his overpairs. So yeah. On the right, we actually kind of fucked up. We should have bet turn. When he bets this small river, it's like really interesting. What kind of like obviously we block bluffs, we block draws. He had, so I guess he has like small pair. Thing is, can we raise him off it? And on this board, I just prefer to fold. It's pretty hard to represent a lot there, so I don't mind just taking more passive line and fold. We get 3-bet by a guy who seems to have 14% 3-bet. In this spot, we can consider calling, we can also consider folding. Yeah, I'm just gonna call here. It's fine as a call, Jack 10 suited. In general, though, don't be afraid to just do a lot of folding on these stakes, especially like in these earlier positions. And yeah, on this flop, no reason to be fancy. We just fold. Deuces, yeah, obviously we call, try to hit the set basically, and yeah, go from there. Go check, check. I don't think we're gonna have the best hand here a lot, but I don't really like betting this board. It's just a board where, yeah, I expect him to do a lot of folds, obviously. But yeah, I don't really like betting just for protection when he can still have some better pairs than us, where he can still have straights, and there's not really reason to blow the pot there, and it's really reason to protect a lot on that board. So yeah, just 5-10 suit, we just fold. Could consider open, but here. Against fish, with the fish in the big blind, I'm actually gonna call here. In general, we're definitely gonna fold this hand, but because he's a fish, yeah, I kinda wanna call to hit the set. Obviously, nothing else. I just know, obviously, against the fish that if we do hit set, we're gonna hit the maximum. And again, there was a fish in the big blind. I expect people in the small blind to not be squeezing enough. So in those spots, I definitely think it's profitable to be calling with the small pocket pairs. But we don't always want to do that, obviously. We always want to find the reasons to do it and not just do it by default, basically. We see limp, we see ISO, and the call. We're always going to be squeezing here, sizing wise. Yeah, 150, 160. Yeah, I like 160 here. Like about 5 times we want to go here, like 4 times the ISO, and then yeah, 1 more for the cold colors. And yeah, we don't mind everyone folding. Obviously, we would be out of position. So yeah, we like that. Okay. We're gonna do some GTO tiers, and we're out. 9-7, we could consider, yeah, fish in the big blind. And again, with people being pretty passive on these Zoom micro stakes, it's definitely fine as an open. We got sevens here, obviously opening. On this board, it's one of the boards where we do need some protection. We can still get some value here from worse pocket pairs, from flush draws, even though we block some of those. Yeah, it's a board where it's definitely kind of weird if you get raised. I definitely don't mind being a bit stationy versus the raise on this board where you basically shouldn't do any raising. Yeah, I think we just fold. Yeah, obviously we're raising here, but this guy having such a small stack, it's actually a bit awkward to raise here. But obviously we still have to raise. I'm just gonna size it down a little bit. If he shoves, we're probably folding. So in those spots where I do think we do get shoved on a bunch of the time, and it's kind of awkward spot where they had like ace queen offsuit versus 50 big blind stacks. I do prefer to size it down a little bit. Again, we don't have to be too balanced with our sizings versus fish. There was also fish behind us who definitely isn't gonna notice. So yeah. Queen 9 offsuit is also close hand, two fish behind us. So yeah, we won't be opening this. Against the fish, sevens like doesn't perform too well, to be honest. Small blind versus button, unless we hit top set, obviously. That's something different. So yeah, how we're gonna do this is against the fish. Guess we go small and then big big. Like when we have top set, obviously we block so much of his hands. When he raises, he's basically not representing anything, so I don't mind just calling here. Where yeah, it's like what value hands does he raise there? I expect him to be full of shit in those spots. And here we're gonna bet small to induce basically, bet like $1, hoping he goes crazy. Because again, like on the flop doesn't make a lot of sense. So on the river he might also do some stuff that doesn't make any sense at all. So yeah. That's why we go for a small bet. King 7 against 2.5x is a fold. Deuces, never loses. Against a half pot bet. Yeah, I'm just gonna fold here on this board with deuces. I wouldn't mind betting there on the flop. Because obviously this should hit our range a lot. With a hand like deuces, we just try to get to showdown basically. Here we're up against a small blind caller. He's gonna have a bunch of queen X in his range, but also a lot of gut shots here on this board. And yeah, we definitely want to go for value. Ace shouldn't change a lot. It should obviously be better for my range. He shouldn't have a lot of ace X, maybe ace queen, ace 8 suited might be in there. It's definitely too thin to bet here on the turn. River, if he bets, we're definitely have a decision to make. He goes for a pot bet. Yeah, obviously he could be bluffing here with a missed flush draw. I don't think people generally use the sizings when they miss their flush draw. So yeah, I'm gonna give him credit here, even though he can still have a bunch of bluffs here. But yeah, if he had a hand like 9-10, he now has a pair. If he had a hand like Jack-10, he now has a pair. Don't expect him to be doing that. Here we 3-bet and we get called by 2 people. This is a fish, so I definitely want to size it up on this board. Where if he has 8s, 9s, 10s, we just want to get it in as soon as possible. Jack 8 here, pretty wet board. So yeah, we're gonna go for a big sizing here with a 2 pair, especially when we don't block King X. You can have a lot of straight draws here on this board, gut shots, and we want to start charging him. We want to start getting value there. Yeah, this is close, but an open. Again, definitely on these stakes. On the left, we hit top pair with a weak kicker and a flush draw. Obviously, you have tons of equity, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to be betting here. We're generally gonna get called by better hands, and even though we do have decent equity versus hands, with those hands, this hand we don't really have to do that. Once he checks, I definitely expect him to have a lot of 10x, 8s, 9s type of hands, and we can start getting some value from those. On the right versus a 3x, we're just gonna call here with ace-10 offsuit. I don't mind 3-betting, it's definitely fine. But I prefer to take a bit of a lower variance route. We face a big bet, which doesn't make a lot of sense on this board. And yeah, we just have an easy fold. Against small sizing, I definitely continue there. Like, I really love it. How do you unlock this? Go to challenges to learn how to unlock this. Okay, let's quickly go to challenges. Throwables, 1 active. Get out all 52. Okay, let's do this. And what's this one? Play 50. Yeah, let's get those throwables. GTO. Oh, wasn't this the guy who was pretty aggressive? I guess this is fish. Here, it's fine as a call. Still gonna fold deuces. I prefer to have a bit of a better pair in this spot. Here with the ace of hearts, I definitely want to be betting here multi-way. We block ace king, we block king queen. We can represent flushes on future seats like here. When 2 people call, it's still kinda annoying, but we're obviously gonna go for it here with our blocker. Yeah, I definitely just want to represent a nut flush here. If we do get called twice again, I might actually just shut it down. Like this already, this looks so strong by both of them, right? Like we're still gonna put a lot of pressure on this guy. Like I think maybe it's actually better when they both call. Yeah, this is an awkward spot, but we're still gonna go for it here. We see 2 folds. Nice. Like I was definitely a bit worried, but I do think like even if the button has a baby flush with the guy still behind him against an overbet, I'm not sure if he's gonna call there. Here it's also kind of similar with the ace of hearts, but it's definitely different because this board this board just hits our opponents a lot better. A lot of straight draws, a lot of flush draws, a lot of pairs. Actually, why isn't... yeah, for the sizing I guess we call, and we're just gonna fold turn basically. I actually need to turn on my 4-color deck here. Where do I do this? Help me out, guys. 4-colored table appearance. Cards. There we go. 4-color deck. Yeah, apply. Okay. Okay, he shoves here. God love these plays. Okay, easy fold, obviously. Yeah, just an easy fold. Here, against 3.5x. Like, these spots, I guess we still raise, right? this hand. Like, I think people are very unbalanced with his sizings and usually are pretty value heavy when they do this. Now on this board, though, obviously we're always gonna bet here. We got the nut flush draw, we block ace king, ace queen. He's definitely gonna fold a lot, even versus a small sizing here. A lot of pairs are already gonna fold, so yeah, we don't mind this. Here, a pretty small raise, so we kind of have to go, and pretty nice flop. Now here on the left, we gotta continue here with our nut flush blocker, with our ace king, ace queen blocker. I want to put a lot of pressure on his pairs with a heart basically right now. When he shoves, it sucks, and yeah. Oh, we actually didn't have the nut flush draw. Here, yeah, we just call. No reason to raise. Like unless we think he's mostly geared towards ace king, ace queen, but still, then I don't really want to raise versus those hands. And yeah, here it's basically, do we wanna get it in? Now the thing is, what worse hands really call us unless he has a flush, and basically if he has a flush, he's gonna get it in by the river, right? So I kinda want him to keep bluffing if he's bluffing. I don't know if people really take this line with ace king, ace queen. Like, this is just really weird. What is he representing here? I do think if he raises, he's gonna fold a lot. But yeah, let's hope he has a flush he plays this way. Yeah, I guess a baby flush he plays this way, which is a few bit surprising. But again, like, yeah, that's basically the best hand we expect him to have on the turn. So he's always going to get it in by the river, right? If he has a hand like that. So yeah, and if he's bluffing, again, we want him to keep bluffing in the spots. So I'm gonna give him the red deck, 3-bet 8, 6 suited, bluffing versus underpicker. And yeah, I'm actually gonna, how do you do this here? Yeah, what sizing did you use actually? So like 60%, no, 65% turn flush. Whatever. What's going on here? Oh, okay. Yeah, let's keep going. Now it's suited. And again, just play solid. Don't have to make a lot of fancy plays on these stakes. As you can see, you can be a bit aggressive pre-flop and post-flop, but mostly you want to be yeah, very fold heavy versus aggression. And yeah, basically. Here, king 9-6 board. This was close between a bet and a check. Against the fish, I think it's definitely fine to bet here to get value. The 7, you know, has a lot of 7-8, 6-8. Like that always are going to continue. He still has flush draws. He also has a bunch of king x. He also has better 9x. So it's close between betting and checking. We definitely hate our lives if he raises. And here this is already a really bad card. He's gonna improve to a lot of 2 pairs, a lot of straights. We still win versus some flush draws. But yeah, I expect to lose here a lot of the time basically. And he did have a straight on the turn basically. Yeah. Oh, did you get one? Yeah. Let's go. Tick, tick, tick. Like, I actually like these kind of small things Pokerstars implemented. It makes the game a bit more fun, you know, and it should be fun. Obviously, for the recreationals, we want it to be fun. Open pocket threes here. And And like from what I've seen so far here, playing here now, it's like people being really passive, and I definitely don't mind being a bit looser pre-flop. And then like here on the right, just once we get called, just take a more passive line. We can do a lot of check raising definitely on this board, but we can also do a bunch of check folding. Don't have to win every hand. Here he's gonna have a lot of pairs, a lot of straight draws, gut shots, so I wanna be betting big here on this board. Here, I don't know, yeah, we're gonna fold. Ace 10 suited. We got the pocket rockets here. Yeah, let's just show this guy we got the pocket rockets. Yeah, I'm gonna raise. We got pocket rockets, dude. Pocket rockets. Ace deuce suited, wow. So 4-bet all in. How many big blinds is this? 20 big blinds. Ace deuce offsuit. Of course we can fold under the gun. Here 8, it's a hand that needs kind of protection. We can still get value from ace high, 4x, deuce x, 5s to 7s, so it's definitely fine to bet small. We definitely don't want to bet big here on this board. On the right, we got gut shot. Yeah, this board should favor us a lot. I don't mind just betting. We're gonna check the turn though, like he's also gonna have a bunch of king x obviously here, and it's getting a bit thin to bet here. I also don't think he's gonna turn enough hands to bluff by the river. I don't expect him to float a lot. And when he goes for this sizing, I think you just have to fold, even though like can he do this with 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s? I don't think so basically. I think they just all check, especially when it's a 10 here on the river. Like, yeah, I don't think we're gonna win here often enough, even though he makes small. And here, on the ace, like, actually I have showdown value, right? So I don't mind checking. Okay. Fair enough. I don't know if we're gonna get him off that hand. I think not, to be honest. I don't mind, just, yeah, being much more passive. I should definitely do more tag. Like, this tagging system just goes so slowly for some reason. It's like, takes so long. It's an open. The ace king offsuit and the king jack offsuit. Both hands we definitely want to be playing. This board should favor him. Still on these stakes, it's definitely fine to bet small here. We can definitely see him start folding low pocket pairs, ace, x, and also the benefit is like now we can just check behind, try to hit the pair basically. Just nice, and if he bets here we just have an easy fold obviously. Now we want to raise obviously on this board when he goes for the small sizing. Like I don't know if this works enough on these stakes basically, yeah. That's why I don't know. Like when they go for small sizings, like yeah. In general we shouldn't be doing that obviously with a hand like king jack offsuit. Yeah, on these stakes, I don't like it. I guess it's my aggressive nature that really wants to attack those small bets. And like, yeah, I definitely don't like my raise sizing too. It's like we make it so easy for him to call here on the river, right? It's like, yeah, that's like he has to call 60 to win 250. Like he's getting insane odds on the call, so he just has to call. Well, if you make it like 120 here or something, he's gonna have a harder time. Still, I don't really like this bluff in general. I just wanted to, yeah, try it out. See if people are really nitty on these stakes versus river raises in situations where it doesn't make sense. Obviously, it doesn't mean we should never make those plays. We should just make them when it makes more sense for us to have a value hand, when we're representing a lot better hands than what we're doing. Just fold here. As you've probably already seen, I'm doing a lot of folding pre-flop versus 3-bets because people are just, generally not bluffing enough, not light 3-betting enough. So they're gonna be mostly leaning towards value hands, and yeah, especially if we're out of position and even in position, it's just pretty tough to play against those really strong ranges with a lot of overpairs, a lot of dominating hands to our hands. This board was just gone bet small, targeting 10s, 9s, 8s, 7s, maybe had like 7, 6 suited, maybe we could check X, all those can definitely be in there. Here, with 8s, we could consider squeezing if this guy was really loose, but we don't have any reads on him, so we just call. Here, this flop, I like a big bet here, lots of draws here on this board. And yeah, he shouldn't have a lot of better queen X, right? King queen should really be in there. He can have queen 10, definitely. Oops, fierce and threat protection. Okay. Here on the turn, easy check, and on the right, we're gonna call. We're not loving this spot, to be honest, because yeah, if we do hit the straight, are we really gonna get paid off? If we do hit the straight, sometimes a flush hits, and this guy can definitely have a flush down, or this guy too. On the left, you just check. So here, even though it looks nitty, we're just folding turn, basically, because yeah, we expect a lot of reverse implied odds, and not a lot of implied odds, basically. Here we see an overbet. Again, this looks suspicious, but I do think again on these stakes we can give people credit and we can trust that these guys probably just have a 6 here and trying to get the max from us. So yeah, I don't mind just folding with a pretty decent bluff catcher. So. Jack 8 suited, it's actually interesting. I guess we just call, right? I wouldn't mind, nah, I don't really like squeezing. Calling is fine. And folding is a bit too nitty though, I think. Just have an easy call, right? We could raise to like get value from king queen type of hands, ace queen, ace king. But yeah, we can just easily call with hands like this. If we didn't have the pair, I'd definitely be more inclined to raise on this board. But here we just have an easy check call, and then probably check fold if you don't hit the river. So yeah, just play it a bit passive. Like we block 9-8, which is nice, obviously. I don't think we can get a lot of value by betting here. We might hero call maybe versus this guy, who should definitely be full of shit a lot of the time. Like yeah, the thing is we block flush draws, which sucks. But we also block 9-8 suited. So, and yeah, 9-8 suited was already yeah, we should just call here, basically. It's definitely gonna be full of shit, and again, 9-8 is already straight on the flop, which I, for some reason, I didn't realize, so it shouldn't take that line with 9-8 suited. Oh, we got some tears. Let's join them. So king queen on this board. I expect a lot of floats. I don't really like check raising. So I'm probably just gonna check fold. I don't mind this. And go check. Let's give him another one. There we go. I'm just gonna try to get the showdown here, basically. And if he bets, we just fold. Don't have to, again, don't have to be too fancy. And on the ace, we can definitely represent an ace. I don't mind this, right? You should have a lot of low pocket pairs. Yeah, I'm gonna go for a bluff here. I expect this guy to be hero calling a lot. He can also have a lot of ace X, but we're really targeting those small pocket pairs and those small pairs maybe has. I don't really like my sizing against the small stack. On the right table should go a little lower versus small stack. Here we get 4-bet, pretty interesting. I think people are not 4-betting light enough here on these stakes, but if there's a position where they should, it should be this spot. So when we're up against an unknown, I'm just gonna get it in. I expect them to still have a pretty strong range here, but obviously with a hand like ace king offsuit, we should do fine. And I'm definitely gonna make a note that he 4-bets button for a small blind fold. Here we 3-bet, get called, gonna go for small c-bet. Please go. What was his sizing? That can be told. 2.3x for small blind fold. Okay. Here we just fold. Here the queen. After he floats flop, he should actually have a lot of queen x. I'm still gonna shut it down with a hand like this. We can still hit an ace on the river, hopefully. King we can also bluff on. It's definitely a decent card when he checks. Like yeah, we want to represent the king. We're gonna go big, but not too big. We don't also want to look too bluffy. So I'm gonna go for 2, where it looks just really strong. And yeah, I expect him to even sometimes fold a hand like ace queen versus that sizing, where a lot of people are gonna be like, ah, fuck, he must have it. But obviously he also has a lot of jacks, 9s, 8s here, 10x that are just gonna have really hard time on the river to call. So yeah, it's definitely a good call by him. And yeah, that's just the way it is sometimes. You don't have to win every hand. Just gotta look at how their range looks and how we're doing. So raise, check, 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 bet small. Expect a lot of jack X. I don't think we can fold here. Wow, these 3. Okay. Okay, that's not a jack X. We get called by fish here. I'm actually gonna go for check raise all in. I think he's gonna step lot here. Also, if he has a pair, he's always betting. And yeah, I guess sometimes he does this with a random hand here. That's not totally random, he still has some equity versus us. And he does hit trips by the river. Yeah, definitely fine. We don't mind it. Here we had top set. On this board he's still gonna have a bunch of 5x, 6x, 7-6, yeah. He might have straights already, that's definitely possible. He goes for like the half pot donk. I think this is generally like a weak pair or full of shit. And I actually like in these spots to go for a really small raise. I think he has a hard time defending against these small raises. He's still gonna have to call with a lot of weak pairs. and he's sometimes just gonna spaz out versus these raises. Queen kinda kills our action usually. So on the screen we don't really want to target one pair type of hands anymore. We're basically going to target his pair plus straight draws here, which I think are the only hands that really continue here. So I definitely think we can go big, maybe even bigger than this. On the right, I like to 3-bet these weak ace-x versus small blinds. It's a fish though, so I don't like it's like now, I didn't notice he was a fish, to be honest. But definitely, yeah. We're just gonna check it down, hope to be up against ace high or something. That's 9-10. Yeah, it's fine. We're up against the limper. He bets big. Yeah, just fold. Yeah, definitely notice that tables on 10NL are still really soft these days. That's good to see, obviously. But I'm definitely liking this. I'm actually having a bit of fun here. It's been a while since I played Pokerstars. Been a while since I played 10NL. And yeah, it's a bit fun. And I like explaining all these plays here. Yeah, just an easy fold. Even when he kind of gives us a good price. Just fold. Again, don't make fancy plays. Just go for solid poker and mostly go exploitable versus the fish, and then some spots versus the regulars. Yeah, no reads. Gonna raise. We see the shove. How do you see? Is it control fast fold? Oh yeah, control fast fold. Here on this board, like obviously has 10 sixes. We're going to go small, kind of small, yeah, 1/3. We still can get value from 7s, 8s, 9s here on this board. You can have jacks, queens still. On the turn, yeah, we're mostly going to start targeting 10x, jacks, queens. On a board that's a bit wettish, I definitely want to go a bit bigger, start polarizing myself a bit. Because I do think like the lower pairs are just falling anyway, and then if he has a 10x, if he has jacks, queens, he's not going anywhere obviously. Like again, like these big sizings, it's just so weird. And in general we should go like 120 here, but exploitatively I go a little bigger. Doesn't matter too much obviously. That's definitely a spot where if we would raise again, we can just easily fold a hand like jacks on these stakes. Unless we got like again, like what's with these sizings? Yeah, no idea what people are doing here. And like generally, like I expect people to be stronger with these big sizings, and apparently this guy is. Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting, I guess, but you can just easily fold. Like some people don't even 4-bet ace king offsuit here. Here, I'm gonna check raise this hand exploitatively. It's a board where I expect him to be floating a lot. I expect him also to be stabbing a lot. And that's why I like going for check raises exploitatively, where I do think he's gonna overfold here with ace x, king x, queen x, low pocket pairs, low pairs. And if you went for a big sizing, I would just check fold there. Here this board we could go for a raise. If it goes for a small bet, we're gonna go for a raise. When he checks, obviously we're betting this turn. Question is sizing. I think we're gonna go for half pot because I do think like in general it's gonna be like yeah, having a lot of ace X that he's calling anyway, and that we can double barrel versus the low pair stuff. Now when the jack hits, it's interesting. Can we get value here? I do think we can get value versus an 8x, right? So I like betting here. I also think he's just gonna check a lot behind. Oh wow, aces. Okay, I guess he sometimes has aces there. It's not something I would expect. Okay, I guess his play is fine. Like he should be checking a lot on behind on this board. I do think like on these stakes you just should still go for value. But yeah, I don't mind how he played it. Definitely fine. Oh, he really accidentally made it 3x. Generally, I wanna go 2.5x unless, yeah, maybe exploitatively. Here we get gold 4 bets. Yeah, we're a bit deeper. I'm just gonna call. And do a lot of folding basically post flop, which we have to do against really strong ranges. It's just the way it is. Once he checks though, he's gonna have a lot of ace king ace queen. We win versus some of those obviously. I'm gonna go for small bets, and I might try to get him off a chop by the river, which I wouldn't mind. Like again, this is a spot where I do think he's gonna be really strong in general. The thing is, can we get him off ace king? I think we can. I also think if he has pocket pair, he's always just betting flop, right? So unless this guy has a balanced checking behind range on the flop, I think he's just gonna have a lot of ace kings there basically. And yeah, also ace queens, which we win against. So yeah, we do win sometimes, so I don't mind going for a check. But I do really like in those spots where our opponent's hands is basically face up, right? And we can definitely get him off a chop if he has ace king. So it's definitely profitable in my opinion to go for those kind of wacky bluffs. Even though we don't want to go too out of line, like I said before, there are still a lot of spots where our opponents just are playing their hands so face up, and we can basically, yeah, just expect them to not show up with strong hands in some spots. And yeah, that's why I liked. Here this board. I prefer to have a club to check raise. I'm actually just gonna bet. We already have some immediate fold equity versus pocket pairs. And yeah, the thing is, he still calls with a bunch of gut shots, which we do block. And yeah, just gonna fold. I wouldn't mind a double barrel, maybe even triple barrel on this board. But I do prefer to have like a club or something to be making those plays. And here we're gonna go for a check call on this board. Again, small blind versus big blind. I expect to see a lot of stabs here from this guy. And we can just easily call with ace high, where we're gonna be still ahead of a lot of their hands. Obviously, we don't want to raise for protection or anything. Just gonna check call, expect them to give up a lot here. King 10, we're actually just gonna fold. Like, just pretty poor playability. Here, obviously, this doesn't make any sense. Why would he go big on this deuce? Yeah, I'm gonna tag him like he might be aggro, and like if we're up against him in a future spot with ace high, I'm probably calling him down twice, maybe even 3 times. But in general, I'm just gonna give people credit on these stakes, basically. 8-6 is close, could open, but in general it's fold. With such check, I don't mind bet betting here. Right? Nah, I don't think people fold enough low full houses here to make this profitable. So yeah, we're just gonna check and yeah, like I don't know if people fold those. I don't think so, to be honest. Here we see like the men 3-bet and it's like, yeah, I guess we're getting a good price to see a straight or to I don't know, hit 2 pairs. Maybe be good with our ace high. Generally not, right? And it's also not a spot where I'm gonna start bluffing, because obviously this guy is fish and yeah, he's just gonna call us down with ace king there or ace queen. So yeah, no reason again to go insane. So I think I'm gonna slowly start wrapping up this session. It's definitely interesting. Like again, I don't usually play these stakes, and I do see a lot of hands from my students, but it's still different when I'm playing myself. Again, I'm also trying out some stuff I think might work, but not sure. It's definitely interesting to see how my opponents react. Here against him, like it doesn't make sense to raise here for us because it's a fish. If he has a diamond, he's always calling. If he has a king, a queen, a nine, he's probably also calling. So not a lot of reason to raise. We can still call him once when he makes it like 10 cents. I don't mind it, and then we just fold. Like again, we can definitely do a lot of raising for value. Flop, we can also turn some crazy hands into bluffs on this flop, but a7 with 7 of diamonds, there's not really a reason to get out of line there. And yeah, as you can see, I'm still pretty tight pre-flop, right? There's no reason to, even though this is a lower stake for me, there's no reason to suddenly start playing 7 deuce suited or something, you know? Just play a decent pre-flop and you're already gonna make a lot of money on these stakes. Like he tank shoves here. I do think if people tank shove, like I expect him to be less strong in general. Whereas if he would have just insta went all in, I might fold his hand, to be honest, against a quick all in. Gonna make a note. Tank forward all in blinds, basically off seat. Like yeah, if you see me on these stakes and you have aces in that spot, just tank and go all in, and I'll call you. Here, oh, 4 ways, I don't like this. I thought we were 3 ways. 3 ways, this would be fine. 4 ways, I think it's, yeah, it's a big mistake. Here, yeah, with fish in the big blind, I definitely like calling here. Like, against under the gun, I don't really love 3-betting a hand like 8s. It kinda sucks. See, check. So here, I guess this guy just, yeah, missed this board completely. This guy can still have a bunch of decent hands. I'm just gonna pot it here with my set. Because yeah, you can still have a bunch of hands we beat. You see a raise and then a cold call. This is interesting. This is very interesting. Like, what does this guy have here? Like, is there another play than shoving here? Like, obviously he can have a straight. Like, yeah, he doesn't have a lot of straights, right? I'm just gonna shove here. And yeah, I guess sometimes we're up against a straight or tens or jacks. Which sucks, but still, we can be up against Jack 10, we can be up against the combo draw, 6-10 suited I guess can also be in there. So yeah, just get the money in. Against small blind, I don't mind 3-betting, we're pretty deep. Yeah, like normally 100 big blinds deep, I would just fold and like queen 5 suited, just because we're deeper, I don't mind it. So yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna sit out next big blind. Definitely an interesting session, very interesting hands. I hope this was useful for most people here. I hope you guys learned some stuff, see how I play these stakes, what kind of adjustments I'm making. And yeah, I do think 10-0 Zoom on Pokerstars is definitely a very beatable game. Mostly just play solid poker, don't go for too crazy spots, even though you might have seen me go for some exploitable wacky plays. In general, still being solid will grant you the most money. And yeah, just think about your opponent's ranges, think how these nutty players, these tight players generally, are going to play their ranges, how they're going to react to aggression in certain spots. And yeah, again, hope this was interesting. And I'll definitely do more of these. I actually liked doing this, and give me feedback. I definitely would appreciate feedback. What kind of things do you guys want me to explain more? Maybe you only want me to play one Zoom table, so explain more about what I'm doing on that one table. So yeah, give me feedback, give me everything you want, and yeah, I'll try to keep producing more of these. Okay, so this was Peter. Have a nice day. Hope you enjoyed. Bye bye.